right, this is our result after 23 hours of printing. This design was inspired by some of the other arcade cabs that I've seen on Thingiverse. The reason I decided to design my own rather than going with one of the prefab ones, I've found other people's work. One, for the sense of accomplishment of being able to design and print one on my own, but two, this is more of a unibody type of construction. Some of those other design files have you assemble the side panels, the top bezels. This might be a 26, 27 piece project by the end of it. So my project right now contains about 8 files, some of which are quick prints. This one was not. This is the biggest print as it houses the most components. It is sturdy. I used a 0.8 millimeter nozzle on a Creality CR10S, so it has a 300 by 300 print surface. So this is not a type of project you can print on a smaller printer. You need a larger print bed or medium-sized printer. I purposely wanted to make this a universal fit, so you can use whatever components you feel necessary. I do provide links for the components that I used, but I do not pre-drill the holes, or do not have pre-drilled holes in the design. This way you can substitute whatever component you feels best, right? So starting with the audio amplifier knob, this is a hole that must be drilled. You will have a audio toggle switch, which is optional. I do not provide a link for this description. Feel free to use whatever toggle switch you'd like. And lastly, you have to drill holes for the speakers. These speakers are very affordable. I got these on Amazon. It does not have to have dynamic audio quality. So I bought a few sets of these 3-watt speakers. They're rectangular. I think I had circular speakers in mind when I did the design, but these worked out really well. So these rectangular speakers, I hold up on the outside to mark the holes, and then pre-drill and countersink them with a countersink bit. Once fastened, I do some cable management, as you can see, running up the side of the cab. I just take a little 3D pen with like materials, so this load my 3D pen up with ABS. And as you can see, just put some globs there, holds the wire in place as long as you don't hold it there too long and melt through the insulation of the wire. So getting into the inside, see if it gets you a better angle. The inside, we have our audio amplifier there. You can see we have terminal strips on this audio amplifier, and it also has a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Some of the other amplifiers, similarly priced, have solder point connections, do not have these terminal strips. So this was a really nice find on Amazon. I will provide the link for this audio amplifier. In addition, this one actually, one thing I really liked about it, was this volume control knob that was included. Some of those other amplifiers have the pressure fit post, but they do not include the knobs. So you'll also see that I'm using a USB hub. Now we have a 4-port hub, and right now I have 2 of those USB connections made. One's for the amplifier and the other is for RGB strip. So I'm using a strip of LEDs on the top of the cabinet, which just gets hot glued in place because the adhesive on these LED strips is not to be trusted. Okay. I'm also going to plug in a port for my LCD. I've reserved one of these ports for my LCD screen, which does not require data. So all of the things plugging into the top of the cab do not require data. So that's my RGB LED strip, my audio amplifier, and my LCD screen. So this all comes down, everything's going to be Pi powered. This comes down via USB. It's going to plug in the back of the Pi. So I got my 3.5 millimeter headphone jack coming down, which is also going to plug into the Pi. And here's my power supply. So I've added this 20 millimeter toggle switch, which I have then seriesed into the Pi 4 USB-C power cable. I actually cut out the inline switch that came with this power supply and soldered in my own toggle switch. So it's going to have a nice cab toggle on the top. So you will see omitted from the video right now because the part is still Still on its way. It has not been delivered yet. But in the next video, you may see this will have the USB port on the side. Now, I do have kind of worked in the design a little notch for it because I feel like it's an essential piece. As you can see on my sample, it's used for a secondary controller, which is another one of my files, which you can download and print. This can also be used for a USB mouse or keyboard when programming the Pi or loading ROMs from a flash drive. So it's very useful. It's almost an essential piece to have on the external enclosure. All right, so currently my control pad is my control box is printing. So the next video I'll be assembling the control box.